Hello, everybody. This is a Senate demo on the tools and techniques that we have available for Senate to utilize to streamline the event planning process. One of the first things that we introduced this year is the combined Google Drive. So everyone in Senate should have access to a Google Drive folder specific to their committee. If you do not have access to the Google Drive folder, please contact your VP and they will give you access. Inside your folder, you should have privileges to create documents, to post pictures, to make folders, and to really just communicate important Senate-related things into your specific committee folder. Now, when you do create a folder inside the Google Drive, please make sure to share it so the rest of your committee members are able to see what you put in that folder. Now, for event planning, the process begins with you actually filling out event planning form, and the event planning form can be found in your folder. You'll see a link to it from a document called the event planning form link. Now you'll click on this link and it should just have one hyperlink in the document, and you're gonna open this document, and what will open up is the event planning form. Now, the event planning form itself is very self-explanatory. It requires your name of the event, location, but one of the most important pieces of this is the projected cost of the event. I can't encourage you enough to fill this out. Even if you don't know the specific cost details, it's recommended you fill out an estimation of the cost of the event. This will help the VPs of finance, this will help Heather and your own VP formulate how your event fits in with the overall budget. Now, this form should be filled out at least 2 weeks before the event, preferably a month before the event, but at least 2 weeks. Now, one of the questions on this event planning form is the location of the event, and we're going to do a quick demo of the virtual EMS system or the room reservation system. Also on here are things like materials you need, so food, tables, rented materials, and you should factor in these rented materials and the food and tables into your projected budget. Just take an estimation of how much, if you don't know how much a table or chairs will cost for renting things, just ask your VPs. They'll have a better idea of some of the budgetary things. But for location, you're going to be going through something called the virtual EMS system. Now, the virtual EMS system can be found by Googling Anschutz room reservation. If you Google CU Anschutz room reservation, you should see virtual EMS pop up. Virtual EMS will bring you to a splash page where you have this top bar here. You're going to want to go to, if you don't already have an account, you want to go to request an account, and they'll usually respond to you within a day or two. You're going to just enter your email, your name, some notes. You're a student, and the organization that you're a part of is CU Anschutz student. And so you'll enter all this stuff, and you'll be sent a confirmation that you've submitted this for approval. Once your account is approved, again, might take a few days, you're going to hit log into your account, and you'll see a splash page like this, where you have a new tab, which is called Request Rooms. Now, in Request Rooms, you want to scroll down to CU Anschutz and really scroll through and find the rooms that you want. So talk to your VPs about certain room choices. If you want to, for example, reserve the bridge, it's kind of a unique space. So you talk to your VP about going through it. We're going to actually go through how to reserve the bridge. But if you want a specific room, talk with your VP and they may know where to find it on virtual EMS. But for now, we're going to go through common conference rooms. We're going to choose a date, and let's say 6/1/18. Choose a time. I don't know. UC Denver doesn't seem to be. Let's try to do. So I'm reserving when you're reserving a room, you're going to want to type in the date, the time, the end time, and then the facility. So right now I'm looking in Education 2 South for 50 people. I'm given a bunch of options here for classrooms. Right now I'm on the classrooms piece, and I can see that there's 4 options available. There might be more than 4, and there's actually this room here that's taken, and you can click on this grid option to see all of the rooms that fit your criteria. So you can choose the different buildings too. So if I wanted to choose maybe Education 2 North, it would load up these 3, a different set, and it shows me all the options and all of the buildings that are occupied and all the buildings that are free. So maybe I want a specific lecture hall, but it might not be open at my desired time. I could choose a different date, choose a different time, and that's how you kind of figure out when you want to hold certain events. For something like the Bridge, which again might be hard to find, it's really in a common conference room area, and we're going to look up something for today. Click on the left-hand side, we're entering when and where, really the time, the date, and then the facility. And we see you have the second floor atrium available. And we have the Bridge. So there we go. It's the Bridge is actually located in Education 2 South, L21, or excuse me, L28, Education 2 South. So this will allow you to get to something like the Bridge. Now, if we wanted to go back to something like this 600-seat auditorium, let's say we wanted to book a big event. We can take both the Bridge and there, and we can see that the selected locations will appear above in our selected locations as per our availability. We can exit things we don't need. Can hit continue. And then we would enter the event details. So things like the name, the event type is actually going to be something called student function right here. And you'll have something called group. Now, when your account is created, you should be assigned a group. Typically, you will be assigned something like campus student services, and you'll receive all this. Things will automatically fill in. If that's not the case, please contact your VP. From there, you follow through with other information. So things like serving food. Is this going to be? Would you require extra hour service? Are there vendors? And because it's in this room, we don't actually have any parking or setup details, but sometimes for certain rooms, they'll have different parking, setup details, things like that, that will be attached along with it. Now, for a speed type, you do want to reach out to your VP. Your VP will have the speed type, so please get that from them. Just let them know you're booking a room. They'll give you the speed type, and you can type it in there and allow for the room to be booked. So let's try to find another classroom here. So we're in classrooms and look at some of the classrooms that can be booked late tonight. Let's say we're 20. We're looking at Education 2 North. So this lecture hall can be booked. And we're gonna book it. And it looks the same. So usually you'll see, you might see some other things like table setup, parking, things like that. So we talked a lot about parking as well. So typically if you do request parking, please let Heather or Brian or your VP know. Heather will reach out to the parking office and they will do one of two things. Some of the options are the parking office will provide, email you a code which you will email out to whoever needs to park on campus. That code will work at those pay boxes. Otherwise, you can get a parking code from the parking office in building 500. So if you have any questions about parking, please reach out to Heather or myself. Chairs and tables do cost some money in the setup, but please reach out to your VP. Your VP may know of some other materials that we have that can offset some of the costs associated with setting up a room for a specific event. We do have some tables available and some chairs. And so that's really the virtual EMS. Again, this is really a system to just identify, reserve a room, book a space, and once you have that, you go back to your web form, enter in the location, and again, it's pretty self-explanatory going through. If you have any other questions, please reach out to myself or any of your VPs. There is a requirement for some events to actually run it through the building administrators. So if you do something like a clothing drive or a fundraising drive of some sort, or a baking or a bagel bar or anything like that, you do need to reach out to Betty Charles, and her email is going to be embedded below this video, so in the description of this video. So please reach out to Betty Charles if you have any questions about where to put certain things around the building in the education quads. And Betty Charles will also be able to point you if you need to put something in the research quad. She'll help you find the person to do that as well. So if you have any further questions, please reach out to Heather, myself, or your VPs, and we're here to help you and walk you through this, and make sure you have access to these things. And please upload some pictures and videos to your drive so we can share them and for future senators and go forward from there. So thank you and have a good day.